Welcome to another episode of Trucker Tank, and today we are honored to have Miss Idella Hansen as our special guest, and we're going to be talking about her career and women in trucking. Hey, Idella, how are you doing today?
Hey, Van, how you doing yourself? Doing great myself.
If I was any better, I'd be twins, and I'd scare the world. I guarantee it.
We couldn't handle it.
We couldn't handle it. And looks like we're color coordinated today, though.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a red kind of day for me.
It is for me, too. And so, it's same colors to Georgia Bulldogs. We finally won a national championship, and it only took 40 more years between them. And, who says a blind hog can't find an acorn every now and then, because we finally found one. So anyways, what I wanted to talk to people about was actually your career in trucking and then women in trucking. And if you could tell us a little bit about your career, when you started, how long you've been trucking, and some of the changes and challenges you've seen over the years.
Well, I started about 1968, and I started out in Southern California running what we call a bulk plant tanker for the family. And
yes, ma'am.
I was wet hosing equipment out there. And then, of course, I started driving when I was 11. I learned on a 41 Chrysler with suicide doors. I used to take the neighbor down to the roller derby in Orange County to the Thunderbirds. But driving has been my whole life. We moved to Arkansas, and I got into the gravel bucket, hauling rip to the river, is what we said, down there to Coshada. And onward to hauling cars for our auto, from the auto auction to our shop, and flatbed, dump truck. I've done it all. Not all. I had never hauled any bulls. I've hauled frogs, but no bulls. But 1968 to now, was that 54 years?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
I just turned 72, so I'm still doing it. A lot of changes, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot of changes. I can remember when I first started, even doing the flatbed, I had to be first and there with the most and the best and the fastest with the least amount of problems, just to be considered on the bottom of the pile. That's not true anymore. And I don't know if the industry has changed or my attitude has changed, and I don't care whether you like what I do or not. That might definitely be a possibility. But and I'm just not sure, but when Desiree started up Real Women in Trucking, she called me, her and Sandy Talbot, who turned 81 today, and she's still driving.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and asked me if I would like to be part of the group. And I have been a part of that group ever since. And somehow or another, these ladies have dragged me screaming and kicking into everything I can think of, from Operation Roger Pet Transport to the Truckers Emergency Assistance Responders, Truckers Charity, not Trucker Charity, yep. Truckers Christmas Group, yep. St. Christopher's Fund. I'm a patsy. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a patsy.
And you've actually been honored as the Trucker of the Year.
I got TA Petro Citizen of the Year 2017 and got my name put up on a truck stop. Yep. I got Trailblazer, Transportation Industry Trailblazer Award, and I'm not going to tell you what that spells. NPR, StoryCorps has done a story on me and Sandy Talbot, and we're in the archives up in D.C. So, yeah, you start doing it this long, you become a poster child.
Well,
I'm just not on a milk carton, that's all. Have you seen this woman? She's driving everybody crazy. I'm dangerous. So, and now It has evolved over the years with everything that I'm involved in it, and I fuss about it, but I love it. I really love. I love being busy. I love all the stuff, and I'm the fireman. I'm the one that puts the fires out when we're doing stuff, last minute stuff. I'm really good at that sort of thing. The last minute problem solver. Um,
Well, I know for when you first had to go through trucking, especially in the '60s and '70s, I've heard a lot of stories that women were not treated very well at all back in that time period, and I
Now,
know.
I never got out. I moved so fast that I never really got into too much trouble, but disrespected. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I can remember going out there to um, Texas and going to the bean farm and picking up beans, going up to Bush's Best in the big sacks. And the guy saying, he says, well, can you back that truck in there? I said, well, I've been doing it 30 years. Yeah, I've heard that crap before. I don't believe it. And of course, when I took him over there and slid the tanders up and slid it right down into the rat infested hole he had me in, he said, oh, well, I guess you can. Well, duh, that's what I told you. Would you have asked that of a man? Well, he probably should have, because the guy day before got stuck and he had to pull him out and he left and didn't take the load. So, I pulled in with the flatbed and had men say to me, well, I don't have anybody tie your load down for you. Well, I don't remember asking for anybody to tie my load down. So
Absolutely not.
definitely disrespected. Many, many times sleep at this job site so I could be first in line and get shuffled to the fourth or fifth because they didn't think I could do my job. But that's changed now. Now I don't get shuffled back. You don't cut in front of me anymore. Of course, now I wear a gun, so that helps.
That
No,
helps
that's
a
not
lot.
true. That I don't pull that card. But yes, now I have the distinct honor and privilege of driving an armored tractor and trailer, hauling high value and the best people in the world to work for.
Yep.
All the respect in the world and all the autonomy that I need.
Well, what about the younger ladies entering the
The
industry
younger
now?
ladies, it's scary because they're getting fed. They've got rose-colored glasses on. People are feeding them. Oh, you can go to school for 3 weeks, and now you can make X number of dollars. And
Yeah.
and there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it, and you've got to know what you're doing. You can't just let these people shove you around. And there's training, and there's trucking companies that have bad business models that put you at a disadvantage. So I really encourage the young people to do their research, make sure they know where we're going, and don't just wait. Well, I'm going to do this. Does anybody have good advice? That's not how you do it. I'm not going to do
No.
your work for you. We have given Real Women in Trucking on our website, have given the ladies all the tools they need to research what they need to do and how they need to do it. They need to go do the research.
And that's realwomenintrucking.com or .org.
.org, realwomenintrucking.org.
Yep. And so,
And there's lots and lots of information on there, And not only that, there's she trucking, there's so many groups that you can access. But don't just go on there and say, well, and it's not just I'm sorry, that was a client for Cheer Foundation.
okay, no problem.
There's so much more to it, but it is a satisfying job. If you do your research, get your schooling, be prepared, know what you're getting into. There's no reason in this world why after you get a little time in, do you have to pay your dues? Well, yeah, anything
Everybody
you do,
does.
you got to pay your dues. But it doesn't have to be horrible. It doesn't have to be a horrible experience. There's lots of people out here like me and dozens and dozens of people that you can call on when you get in a tight, you can't find your information, what you need to do. And I make $100,000 a year, and I come home every 4 weeks for 9 days. I have weekends off. I get to go visit with people like you on a weekend.
Yes, ma'am.
there are good companies out there. Some of them are big, some of them are a little like mine, but do your research, get your stuff in, and you can make a good living. But don't think that you're going to jump into $100,000 a year the first year, because it's not going to happen.
No. And that's one of the fallacies of some of these schools. And the other fallacy of some of these quick training schools, they don't teach the students how to back up. I mean, they really don't. I mean, I've got
CDL schools are for getting your CDL. That's for getting the driver's license. That's not for teaching you. They teach you how to drive the truck, get it from point A to point B, from one end of the parking lot to the other, and then they give you a CDL. Your training comes with life and experience and getting in that truck and riding with somebody that knows what they're doing. Is that easy? No, it's not.
But that's 100% true. The mentoring that takes place out in the industry, it still goes on. A lot of people don't believe that the trucker brotherhood's still strong, and maybe we shouldn't call it brotherhood. Maybe we should call it just what would be the right word for it? Because we got sisterhood and brotherhood, and it's just the trucker family and sense of belonging that's out there. It's still very strong. I know all the people in the posse, like Joe Danny, he sees a young driver, he tries to help him. John Hiley, he's got a young man that's wanting to get in trucking. He's not old enough yet, and he's teaching him ropes by letting him travel with him in the summer, and because he just wants to be a trucker. He's just crazy about it. And every one of that trucker spirit, it's out there still, and contrary to what
I
everybody
absolutely agree with you, Ben. It is out there. You know, we used to stop on the side of the road. I don't know how many times I stopped and helped a fellow driver, Great Lakes Chemical, and this was years and years and years ago. And I stopped and I said, "Well, what's the problem?" We said, "Well, Idella, my accelerator spring broke." I said, "Well, wait a minute. I got one accelerator spring. Now that's really dating me. You know that."
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And I told him, I says, "I got one in my toolbox. In fact, I think I still have an accelerator spring in my toolbox."
You don't need it today.
And I put it on for him, for heaven's sakes. I put it on for him and got him going. We used to do that. We didn't have cell phones. You know, if you needed a phone call, somebody would stop and say, they go to the next stop and make your phone calls for you or give you a ride. Now we have cell phones, so you really don't have to stop on the side of the road. But the camaraderie is still there. It's just changed its hat and it's changed its shirts. It's still there. It's just taking a different direction. And people say, well, yeah, I see some rudeness and stuff out there now, but that's just life. And you give what you get. You give what you get.
Yep, I totally agree. Now, you're talking about She Trucking. Now, their event this year is in Chattanooga, Tennessee, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, just right up the road from me, like 20 miles. I mean,
yes.
Real close.
Yes.
Are you going to be at She Trucking?
I was last year. And it was really hard on me. It was not, I was having a lot of problems with my legs and stuff then. Yeah. I think I put in for that time now, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to go. Boss man's putting me on some pressure on me to come to work in the office, and I'm trying to buy another house and yada, yada, yada. But even so, I think you should attend that.
Well, after this call, we'll talk, and you can tell me how to attend it, because I know it's right up the road. And
absolutely. And Sheree Moore is a force to be reckoned with. She's a force to be reckoned with. She sure is.
I've
and
heard
all the
that.
Ladies are up there. There's a lot of good going on there. Do I agree with everything? No. But then I don't agree with Desiree on everything either. But she's a whole lot smarter than me, and she's got a whole lot more up in that head than I do.
I don't know about that. You got a lot of experience, and so experience trumps everything. You know that.
You know, it's hard for me to tell people. They say, well, what school should I go to? Well, you know, I went through the school of, I taught myself how to drive.
Yep.
And my grandson started riding with me when he was old enough to get in the truck, 2 or 3 years old. And he runs team with me now. So he learned from a young age. Grandma taught him how to drive. He still had to go to school, though, get his CDL. But I'm more of the day-to-day problems. You got a noise in your truck, and you call me and say, what do you think it is? I usually for the most part, can tell you what to look for, how to do it. Am I a mechanic? Well, I've gotten greasy with some of the best. But the day-to-day problems, everyday problems, I'm much better at that than I am giving you advice on schools and what to look for. I just have to tell everybody, do your research and then get you a mentor. Get you somebody that's not going to scream and holler if you call them at 2:00 in the morning.
Absolutely. And, I can imagine how scary it'd be if you're a first time truck driver and you're having to go downtown Manhattan for the very first time. That could be nerve wracking where you just want to park the truck and mail the keys back to them.
I had been driving when I went to work for Prescolite. Let's see, I was 35. I've been driving since I was 18 and had been to LA and been to Houston, Chicago, pulled a flatbed. And Prescolite sent me up to New York City, down on Jamaica Avenue.
Oh,
and I was absolutely petrified. And I'd been going to Pine Brook, New Jersey, yada, yada, yada. And somebody said to me, Idella, I said, you been to Chicago? Yeah, I've been to Houston. He said, it's not any different. And it wasn't bad. It really wasn't. And I was a little confused, and I got on the CB radio, and somebody come back and took me right into where I needed to go. And I've been running New York City ever since. But, after 54 years, New York City can still be scary.
Yep.
I promise you, if you make the wrong turn, just ask my grandson when I woke him up and said, I got to have some help.
Yeah. Well,
let's get the hell out of here.
Case in point, when I was in New York and Manhattan, I actually saw a truck driver. They made a wrong turn and they got jammed, and they pulled their trailer all the way up and over a car that was parked way too close to the corner because they was trying to make that turn, and they couldn't back up because the traffic wouldn't stop. They couldn't go forward. All the horns were honking at him.
And he pulled over the car.
He pulled over the car because it just absolutely frayed his nerves to the nth degree. He said, I'm just going to go forward. And he pulled over the car. And so.
That's frightening. That is frightening.
Saw it with my own eyes. So I'm like, that. Wow.
Well, I have tried loading down by Times Square. I've done that twice now in the Diamond District, loading diamonds with a 53-foot trailer. And we're not supposed to have 53 foots in the city. No. And I was the cleanup truck. I was the very last truck loaded going out to Las Vegas, and it was interesting. It was interesting. It really was. So
and that's where the CBs come in. People forget truckers still communicate with CBs. Yeah, we got cell phones. Everybody's got cell phones, but CBs are still very, very handy. Oh, and
absolutely. I can't highly recommend one enough. Like I said, even now, my CB's working and it's on, and I have used it. You get in a tight spot, it's a must, an absolute must. And of course, my company, if you don't have a CB, if you buy one, they'll pay for it. So
that's even better. But I mean, the mentorship, I just can't talk strongly enough about that one. These young drivers, if they just got somebody they can talk to, especially in situations where you're just jammed, you got to have somebody you can talk to just to keep you calm so you can actually handle the situation, because it's nerve-wracking.
Even after 54 years and all the experience I have, I am still not super duper experienced with the reefer unit. And we do have reefer units for some of the stuff that we do, temperature controlled freight. And I have to call somebody. I've had to call probably a good dozen times in the last 4 or 5 years to people that I know that are really experienced with the reefer units, to ask them hard questions. What do I do? What do I need to do? And so far, they've gotten me out of every crack that I was in. And one or two of them was my own fault.
Yeah. Well, just call Joe Denny. He knows all about those reefer units. and Earl Doc, he knows about them. We got plenty of reefer runners in the posse, so you just call them. And Joe, he doesn't have as much experience as you, but he's got 49 years, so he's getting close.
Is he as old as I am?
He is.
Oh, so. Is he as ugly as I am today? See, if I
Idella,
knowed you was going to call me, I'd have got gussied up and put some makeup on. But this is the real me. We're getting ready to buy another house, so I'm packing up stuff and just trying to figure out where to put some of this crap until I get moved.
you got to remember, you're the queen of the BullSnot posse. You're always going to be the most beautiful on the posse. I
Okay,
mean,
thank you.
that's why we all refer to you as the queen. So there you go.
There you go. I need a crown. I'll need a crown when you see me next time.
I may have to see what I can do about that. So what's the next event you got coming up? I know you
The
speak
next
to.
event that I've got coming up right now, and let me say that I just got a message in my crew list from Real Women in Trucking, and we will be at Mass this next year. We will have a booth, and we did not do the Queen of the Road this year. We're bringing it back.
Awesome.
It will be doing it at Matt's. The Queen of the Road is an important event. So we'll be at Mass this next year. And next month, August, now on the 12th of this month, I'm going to England for a book launch.
Wow.
Sisters of the Highway by Anne Marie.
Awesome.
You'll need to go on the website and look that up. She's a photojournalist, and she's done several shows over the last couple of years. Now she's launching the book, and of course I'm in the book, of course. So I'm going over for 2 weeks. Going to be staying at a 300-year-old cottage with her.
Is that book going to be available on Amazon by chance?
I don't know if it's going to be on Amazon, but it is available at Real Women in Trucking. I think it's on the Inc. I can send you a link to it.
Okay, send me the link, and when I post this video on YouTube, I'll put the link in the description below so that everybody listening to this video can have an opportunity to buy that book.
Oh, absolutely. There's some really awesome women in the book and their stories. Next month in August, I won't be going back to work until just about September the 1st. Ambest is having their annual meeting down in Charlotte.
No, Charleston, South Carolina, ain't it?
I'll be going to that.
Yep.
As I understand it, I've been asked to go to that. I haven't heard anything solid on that just yet. And then I don't know. August. Oh, yeah. We have the Truckers Jubilee in Searcy.
No, that's the last weekend in October.
October. I said
yep.
August. I meant October. Yeah, it's Halloween weekend.
Yeah, American Trucker Jubilee. Me and you both going to be there. And
absolutely.
And our buddy Long Haul Paul is going to be headlining there.
He's my friend. He is my buddy. Now I've been on a podcast with him. He did a really nice podcast about me in Overdrive. Yeah. And that man's voice will absolutely take you on a journey. I don't care what he's talking about, what he's doing. He takes you. That voice, just memorize it, and he takes you right with him. You're right there. He should really do talking books. He should really be on audio.
I've told him the same thing. He could read the back of a soup label and read the ingredients, and you just be mesmerized by him.
Make you want to go eat it. Yes,
absolutely. Paul,
he is hypnotizing.
He really is, and he's one of the most humble people I've ever met in my life. I just love him to death.
So, and I'm anxiously looking forward to that. I believe I'm going to be taking my camper up there. I'm going to be bringing my camper up there, if I'm not mistaken. So,
well,
anxious.
Well, I'm renting a house up there, so we'll probably do a little private reception where Paul plays just for a couple of people, and so you just come over to the house, and we'll just.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Searcy's my old stomping grounds. As you knew last year, I knew everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of them were friends of 30 and 40 years. Boy, hell to get old. You know what?
I know. I'm gonna pass you for long though. So you just keep doing what you're doing. And now at the American Trucker Jubilee, we're gonna have our first tire shine contest with Shineable. Everybody has to use Shineable to shine their shine their tires. We'll see who does it the best. Whoever does is going to win something pretty special.
I could do that on my dually, couldn't I?
Yeah, I'll let you do whatever you want to.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm like I said, Mid America is going to be, and the Tier Foundation, of course, Truckers Emergency Assistant
Yep.
Responders are going to be doing their thing there. And I can't think. Boy, I wished I'd have wrote all that stuff down because my mind's going a mile a minute. But I'm really anxious. I've never been. I've been to Puerto Vallarta 30 years ago, and I've been on 2 or 3 of the Real Women in Trucking cruises, but I have never actually went to Europe. Everybody in my family has, but I haven't.
I have been over there so many times. It's not funny. If you can get a tour of Buckingham Palace, because it's open for tours at certain points, because I assume you're going to London, correct?
Yes, I'm flying into Heathrow. Yes.
Yep. Take a tour of the Buckingham Palace if you can, and then make sure you catch a musical while you're over there as well. They have some tremendous musicals, just like if you went to New York City on Broadway, they have the same things over there.
Oh yeah. Well, Anne Marie has promised to give me the tours of everything. We might slip over to Paris for a day, and she has a wonderful home out in the country that she has restored, a 300-year-old thatch roof cottage. Yep. That she has restored to original. So we'll be staying out there. It's going to be quite the adventure for me. She said I was finally going to take my first long haul trip.
Yeah, and if she's over there, she's probably close to Bath. We say Bath, but they pronounce it Bath. And you need to go to Bath and see all the fountains and where they actually used to bathe and all that. It is neat. I've been there, and it's truly worth the short little train ride to get over there.
Yeah, I just never have taken the time. I've always this last couple of years, the ladies in Real Women in Trucking have really encouraged me to do a lot of things. And once a year, we have a live meeting where we're all together and we go do something that is considered community-minded. Last year, we went to Kanab, Utah, and we volunteered at the Best Friends Animal Sanctuary for 3 or 4 days as part of our annual meeting. And I always look forward to that. Always.
Well, I look forward to seeing you at Matt's. I'll be there next year and supporting Real Women in Trucking any which way I can. And I appreciate all your time, Idella. Out of the blue, I had an opening and you was willing to come on the show. So I really do appreciate that. And I hope you have a fantastic day. And you got anything you want to add before we close the show?
I guess just, go to the different groups and look them up, not just Real Women in Trucking .org, but OperationRoger.org. That's a pet transport, and fill out the application to help us move pets. The Tier Foundation, we're always looking for people to help us with the Tier Foundation and to vet the Truckers Christmas Group is coming up soon. We're going to need people to nominate people that are in need, truck drivers that are in need, and to help us with the vetting and raising money, because we just do that one time a year for a short period of time. What else? What am I missing, Van?
I'm big on Race Across America, so that's
absolutely. I've never gotten into that, but I would love to do one of those. I would absolutely dearly love. Several of my friends have done it, and I think that's awesome. I really do. I always support it.
Yeah, that's one that's kind of near and dear to my heart, and so I've always been proud that we were able to support that.
Something else that I did the other day, I saw, of course, I'm hobbling around with a cane, and a gentleman came in with one of those hats, and he was retired with, excuse me. When you see somebody that has that hat, be sure and thank them for their service.
Amen.
Just that little bit makes a smile. A smile.
Amen. Doesn't cost a thing. So, well, that's it for Trucker Tank. This episode of Trucker Tank.
And you need to start a fund so I can get a facelift.
You don't need it. You're beautiful just the way you are.
I've been saving my change for one all along. My daughter said I needed a butt lift first, so okay.
I ain't touching that one. That's it, everybody. This is for this episode of Trucker Tank. if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and support realwomenintrucking.org in any way you can. And Miss Idella, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Y'all have a great one. All the best.